Right now, President Trump is clarifying his plans to send National Guard troops to protect the U.S. Mexico border. The president wants to send up to 4,000 troops until a large portion of the wall is built. Good evening. I'm Lindsay Pena.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. Our 10 News anchor Ariel Wessler is joining us on this story. And Ariel, you've been looking into how effective this move has been in the past.
Well, Steve, Lindsay, that's right. We are here outside of the National Guard Armory in Kearney Mesa. Now, this has been done by the past two presidents. Both have sent National Guard troops to the border to varying degrees of success. But with strong rhetoric recently from President Trump, some local immigration advocates are now worried adding a military presence could incite violence.
This essentially becomes a declaration of war against migrants.
Local immigration advocate Pedro Rios says it's overkill, arguing many of San Diego's undocumented immigrants are fleeing violence.
When you militarize communities, the response ultimately is a slippery slope towards suppression of civil and human rights and possible violent incidents.
So many countries in the world use their military to protect their borders.
But sending the National Guard to the border isn't a new idea. In 2006, President George W. Bush sent 6,000 troops for about 2 years. They assisted in about 12% of all arrests. Then in 2010, President Barack Obama initially deployed 1,200 troops for a year, helping with 6% of all border arrests. The law prevents the National Guard from arresting border crossers, but they can help with surveillance and intelligence, freeing up the Border Patrol to do more law enforcement. The Pentagon is still deciding whether the National Guard will be armed.
Having the military, whether armed or unarmed, along our border could lead to a potential conflict, not only with civil society on the U.S. side, but also with Mexican officials.
But we got a lot of problems with real crooks, criminals, and drugs coming across the border.
The latest numbers show 2017 had the fewest recorded illegal crossings since 1972. Well, back out live now. The two previous operations, both from President George W. Bush and President Barack Obama, cost more than $1.3 billion combined. So what does this mean for California? Well, I talked to Governor Jerry Brown's office, and they say they are waiting to hear more information from President Trump's administration before they can make a decision on whether they want to deploy troops, because the governors in each of the states are responsible for their own National Guard troops. Live in Kearney Mesa, Ariel Wessler, 10 News.
Thank you, Ariel.